David Garmo coming up against Javad. David Garmo, actually an athlete that I've competed against myself as a purple belt. Very, very tough competitor. I said in an interview, if I had a hard time with him, he's got to be pretty good.
Of course he did, right?
But David Garmo has competed in this format for Sakuraba in Japan, for Team Carpe Diem, which is a two-time champion. A lot of experience in this format. Again, just a very cool matchup.
Both these guys are not lacking in the leg department here.
Garmo electing to wrestle Javad, which, again, I admire the bravery. You can see the David versus Goliath.
I like it.
My guess is the weight difference is big enough here that Garmo could have had a shorter match, but again, very bravely electing for the full 8-minute match versus the Iranian Olympian. May have been trying to set up some kind of scissor entrance there. Garmo has a very dangerous guillotine game. Nice hits that single attempt, but just like shooting it on an oak tree with those thighs. Wow. Judo lends itself very well to submission-based grappling because there is a submission component to judo, even at the Olympic level. When you look at a sport like wrestling, where you see with Gino, there's much less experience dealing with submissions once it goes to the ground. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, of course, a derivative of judo.
That's where Sambo comes in handy as well, too, right?
Sambo is also a derivative of judo. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Almost a sweep, but again, those big hips, big heavy hips from Javad, very difficult to move. And again, the interesting component of these matchups is that at a certain point, if you realize that it may be impossible to submit your opponent, you may start playing for a draw, which means you need to stay active, you need to stay attacking, but you need to stay out of trouble and maybe take fewer risks. So I don't know if we're at that point quite yet with David. Great jiu-jitsu crowd here coming out to Oakville to support this event. We're very fortunate to have some local sponsors helping us out. The rash guards you see on the athletes were designed by Tiziana Fata and were made by Under the Gi.
Looks like the ref gave a penalty, I'm not sure to whom.
The referee should stop the action and verbally warn the athlete to indicate who was actually penalized. See that knee shield we were discussing again?
There it is.
Javad going for the...
roll through, top position.
Here's that guillotine game I was talking about.
He's locking up that leg too. Oh, no, he breaks out of it.
You know, I've felt Garmo's guillotine, and it is quite good, but when you deal with a 260-pound man that is clearly
judo Olympian,
yeah, very powerful, it's a different type of strength that you're dealing with.
Garmo looking to disrupt the base of Javad.
Try to get one leg in the middle. One leg in the middle. Yeah. One knee in the middle. Sit the knee one knee in the middle, one knee inside.
Approaching the halfway mark.
Oh, Garmo.
Oh, almost looking for that arm lock. The score is tied, one submission apiece for Tristar and Detroit. Detroit carrying a penalty.
That's it.
Javad settled in side control. Again, it's important to keep reiterating in these submission-only matches that the positional game, a pin, advancing position, essentially meaningless unless it leads to...
The referee gives another one.
Javad is penalized.
That's for Javad this time.
So that looks like 1 submission and 1 penalty each. Ooh. David jumping to
Going for that guillotine.
Oh.
He's right up here. He's switching to no arm in. That looks pretty deep. Oh.
That should absolutely be a DQ. That should absolutely be a DQ. There was no way out of that guillotine. Javad is DQ'd.
Garmo's moving on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by disqualification, Detroit Jiu-Jitsu.